this and yap. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna yap too much. I'm here to tell y'all exactly why I left my hometown and moved to Florida. I got my little mug here already. You know, I love mugs. So, I gotta have my little cafecito always. But, hi todos. Hola todos. Okay, so if y'all know me, you know that I don't really open up easily. I don't like to open up too much. I like to protect my energy, and I'm going to do this now because as mi gente, we're gonna build this little community, and I want you to get to know me a little bit better. So the reason why I left, well, first of all, I was born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and it's not too far off of Boston if you don't know. But I always knew that I was meant to expand. I wasn't meant to stay stuck there forever, even though I had lived there like my whole life. And I was basically the only one who was born there because my parents were raised in Queens. And so they came to Lawrence to start, well, not to start, but like to have their own business. But I'm still grateful for growing up in the hood, as they say, because it really shapes who you are. Like, if you know, you know. I don't know how to describe it. And you know, back then it was way easier to like buy a house and own a property. So, you know, it was for the low. So my parents didn't hesitate to move from New York to Lawrence with both my older siblings. And then came me. So we went back and forth a lot from Lawrence to DR. And I spent almost all my summers in the Dominican Republic, but I was still going to school there in Lawrence. Anyways, I'm still grateful, you know, because with this, both of my parents were able to support us and support me to go to like not only college but to go to private school growing up. Like, obviously I'm grateful. And it really just goes to show like how hardworking immigrant parents are and what they have to sacrifice for the greater good of their children. So going to the university, I had two different universities that I went to. So I transferred from Bridgewater to UMass Lowell just so that I can kind of like help with the cost of living, like lowering the cost of living. And I commuted to UMass Lowell because it was close to my hometown. And that's where I just ended up graduating from, and this was all during COVID. But it was really the first time, my first experience that I had just like being out of my hometown in the United States. And so it was the first time that I also struggled like with the transition into young adulthood. Working so early on in my life, like since I was 15 to now, I really felt the burnout. Like, I never had time or like the motivation to keep up with my hobbies or my passions. I tried to get involved in my city. Like, I tried to do Pop Warner, if you guys know what that is. Like, that's like cheerleading and football. I did the whole Boys and Girls Club thing, and I kind of just ended up getting bullied, so I ended up quitting. Even in college, like, I joined dance teams, I did a step team. So ultimately, I just didn't feel motivated enough to continue to pursue these things because I didn't think it was gonna really lead anywhere, that I was gonna fit in. Yeah, so I just thought that like as long as I worked hard and I have my little group of friends and that I would have a good life basically, and I should try to just like have a stable job and a stable income and just work my butt off like my parents did. But this dog so I just accepted this as the norm and that I had to put up with it my whole life. And so that's what I did for most of my young adult years. And I felt so proud of myself. Like, I thought I was always ahead of the curve. I thought I was ahead of my career by already being a teacher at so young, and that I was one of the like youngest people to be living this lifestyle, you know, like having my own apartment at 21 straight off college, and having a relationship and having my group of friends, having a car, being able to travel. But it was really all a facade, unfortunately. And like looking back at it now and just like having to work from such a young age, like it's kind of sad because I never really had the time or motivation to even figure out what those passions were of mine, or that like what I really wanted to do. And so once I did achieve having that stable income and lifestyle, like the 9 to 5, 8 to 4 lifestyle, I found no satisfaction in there. I know a lot of you can relate. And just not feeling happy internally, even though I had all these people in my life, all these prized possessions in my life. I lived basically to work, and I felt like all of it was fake. I felt like I was living in the Matrix and living for other people, not for myself. I'm one of those people that I have to live my truth. Like I'm always telling the truth, like ever since I was little. And for me to not be living my truth, I don't know, I felt like like I was like living a double life. Like I was looking at myself from outside of myself. I remember working so hard and just thinking that people would accept me just for that, just because I was kind of successful and working really hard in my life. And I feel like it was more like they were using me for like those benefits that came with that. So because they never really supported me, like when I was home studying, like when I was home crying, like I didn't feel like I was getting that reciprocated, like that energy reciprocated, that support back. And so I was just a giver basically, and I was just working really hard, giving and giving and giving. And I knew that I had to change when I hit rock bottom. I was just in the worst point ever in my life. Like I looked around myself and I was in the worst shape ever, and nothing was getting better. So I wasn't making the best choices either, like I'm not gonna lie. So I was just justifying these bad choices and receiving this bad karma. I just felt like there was no value from all of these things, and it really makes you wonder, because like that's why rich people, like they can have so many things around them but they're still sad inside. It's because like you can work so hard and achieve like all these material blessings, but it's all fake, without purpose, without faith, and it's not even just about like the people. Like you have to have good people around you too. So mind you, I was only 23 years old when I came to these realizations, and most people in their life, they don't even come to realize this till they make it there. So I'm warning y'all now, don't say I didn't warn you. So this is when I turned myself to faith and God. And just because like I had nothing else to lose, so why not? And my family was always religious, but it always felt pressured. It's just because of everything that I was struggling with, like that was just like blocking me from actually like really believing and really having faith. So I knew that I had to get out of that. And that's when I realized I can't really blame God for everything that had happened to me. I can only blame myself, my actions, my choices, and like the stigmas that were put on me from generations before me, from society. So they led me to believe that this was gonna be my life. But really, it doesn't have to be that way, guys. Once I did start having faith and started praying and trying to go to church, because I wasn't really like good at that either until now. I really feel like I really have to thank my ancestors or whatever, God, because they were showing me so many signs. Like once you open yourself to this, you're gonna start receiving all these signs from the universe. And I really believe that that's what helped me get through. I'm not saying it's easy, but why do you but this is the reason like why so many people are stuck in their home country, in their hometowns, working these 9 to 5s, and why they're so miserable doing so. The reason that is so hard is because it's hard to believe that some God, some spirit up there is in control of our lives when we want to be in control of our lives so badly. But when you realize like you really have nothing else to do, when you really have like hit rock bottom, you're gonna realize like once you surrender to God, how everything changes. If you don't want to do that, then you can just continue on in your life and figure it out all on your own. So but no, I think that when we're at that point is when we finally start to wake up and realize that God is all that's left. And when you're drowning and you feel like you're dying inside, how I felt, it's hard to do this on your own. And I started to do my research, and YouTube was actually one of the places where I was able to find spiritual guidance, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So this is where God has led me, and I think it's to share these stories here on YouTube and to share these experiences with each other so that we can learn from each other and inspire each other. And I really appreciate everybody who has been you know, like giving me feedback and saying how I've been inspiring them and like just giving me support to keep going. I really appreciate y'all. And like I think our souls, like our mind, our spirit, like it's way more valuable than our physical being, like our physical body. Like I had to learn this and get in tune spiritually, and I hope that other people are doing the same. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't hit until we research and hear other people's testimonials, other people's stories. But I feel like that's where people really get confused. Like they put their physical body, their physical being first instead, when God literally gave us this gift himself. And you know, he put us in your mother's womb. Like it was for a reason. And he gave you your body, and everything that you have gone through so far, it's all for a purpose. And it's up to us to live soulfully, to live spiritually for him, because he will reward you for it. And this is getting out of topic now, but it all ties to why I left and why I had to move. Because like I was in this toxic physical space where I did not feel safe and I did not feel comfortable to live in, and my body was being forced to be in this environment. And so that's why I left. That's why I wanted change, and I was going to do it. I was going to do whatever it takes to get there, because I knew that I wasn't happy where I was. I think where you choose to live, like the environment that you're in, definitely affects your life. And that's why so many immigrants, so many people, they choose to leave their country, they choose to leave their hometowns. I really want you to think about where you are right now. Like, is it benefiting you? Are you able to be free in that area, like, and happy, or like just content and satisfied? Like, and being free is like a very questionable word, like very, what's the word, like ambiguous. I guess I should say that, because like I know it's scary to like take that first step, or just like it takes so much planning to get out of there. But if you don't start, then you're just always going to be stuck where you are. And so you have to do what's best for you and your physical space and your healthy living. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave you with that, and just want you to like really evaluate your life and your surroundings right now. Do you feel safe? Do you feel at home? Does it feel good? I'm gonna leave you with that question. And thank you for watching. Have faith always, and go and be blessed with God and his presence and his spirit, and be free, and just enjoy this gift of life. It's looking week 2, moving on. gone. And my broom, the bed is gonna stay, everything else gotta go. Crazy. Philo coming with us too. The bathroom don't look that different.